Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Sodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Yasodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Srimadbhagavatam Prabhupada Asatosa Shishiman, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Gauda Vaishnava ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Premse Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Maya Punavidham ki jai, Gangamaya ki jai, Jamunamaya ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Go Premanandi, all glorious some of the devotees, all glorious some of the devotees, all glorious some of the devotees, all glorious to Shishi Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, this morning we're reading from the srimadbhagavatam, the Amala Purana. This is the fourth canto, chapter 20. Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena, text number 10. Prityakta Guna Samyag. Oh, I got bad. Darshano Visadhaya Sasya. Devita, maybe you could do it. This is the first. This is the wording is very small. My hours aren't good. You go ahead and do it. Darshano Visadasaya Santim me samavasthanam Brahmakaivalyam ashnute Pratyaktaggana samyak Darshano Vasadasaya Santim me samavasthanam Brahmakaivalyam ashnute Pratyaktaggana samyak Darsano Vijaya Dasa Santim me samavasthanam Brahmakaivalyam ashnute Pratyaktaggana samyag Darsano Vasadasaya Santim me samavasthanam Brahmakaivalyam ashnute Pratyakta Ganasamyak Mataji. Okay, Parityakta Guna, one who is disassociated from the material modes of nature. Samyak, equal. Darshanaha, whose vision. Visada, uncontaminated. Asaya, whose mind or heart. Shantim, peace. Me, my. Samavasthanam, equal situation. Brahma, spirit. Kaivalyam, freedom from material contamination. Asnute achieves. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. When the heart is cleansed of all material contamination, the devotee's mind becomes broader and transparent, and he can see things equally. At that stage of life, there is peace, and one is situated equally with me as Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Purport. The Mayavad conception of Kaivalya and that of a Vaishnava community is different. The Mayavadi thinks that as soon as one is free from all material contamination, he is merged into the existence of the Supreme. The Vaishnava philosopher's conception of Kaivalya is different. He understands both his position and the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the uncontaminated condition, the living entity understands that he is the eternal servitor of the Supreme, and that is called Brahman realization. The spiritual perfection of the living entity, this rapport, is very easily achieved, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. When one is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is immediately situated on the transcendental platform of Kaivalya, or Brahman. Om Jnanatamadandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Kotava Chalang Pangunong Hayate Garim Yat Kripa Taraham Vande Shigurum Dinataranam Vanchikapati Yabhyasya Kripa Sinudyevacha Paditanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaur Bhaktavan Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When I joined this nice Hare Krishna movement, it was so nice. The philosophy is so nice, devotees are so nice, prasadam is so nice, everything was so nice. And then I realized it's a big challenge. It's a very difficult, actually, it's a very difficult path to become free of material contamination. Very difficult. So nice, still it's so nice, you know, still nice devotees, nice prasadam, nice philosophy, everything is so nice, but it's difficult to get completely free of material contamination. Not easy, but Krishna in the beginning, he gives a taste. Yeah, we get a little taste. Yeah, Krishna gives us a taste for Krishna consciousness in the beginning. You know, just like sometimes these soda pop companies, when they start their new brand, they go to the college and they just pour them out. You know, here, just take. You know, just give it out for free. And you get a taste for it. Hey, this is pretty good. But then you got to pay for it. You get a taste for it, then you got to pay for it. So it's kind of like we got a taste. Krishna gave us a taste. Now you got to pay for it. We got to surrender. And when we completely surrender, then there's nothing sweeter. It gets sweeter and sweeter. You know, when I distribute books to students now, I tell them that, you know, there's two types of happiness. I tell them, do you know that? There's two types. No, what's that? Material and spiritual. Material happiness comes to a certain level and then decreases. Yeah. Just like people get a job and it's nice in the beginning, or people go to a university and it's nice in the beginning, but then they're like, oh, I'm sick of this place, I'm sick of this job, I want to go to another university or something. It gets old. Or divorce also. In the beginning it's so nice, honeymoon, so nice, then so much divorce now. But spiritual happiness is always increased. So I tell them, this is what you want, right? Always increasing. Yeah, that's what I want. Well, that's what this book gives. Ever increasing happiness. And it's a fact. If we follow nicely, we practice, then it gets nicer and nicer. It's difficult, but what does Krishna Das Kaviraj say? Katanchana smate yasman duskaram sukaram vishmete vitaritam. Sri Chaitanya Namamitam. That if one remembers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then very difficult things become very easy. But if we forget Lord Chaitanya, then very easy things become difficult. So Lord Chaitanya is a very merciful incarnation just by thinking of him. It's like, I'll give you an example. I was at a university one time, and I had set up my book table to distribute books. And before I even sat down to try to distribute, a security person came and said, excuse me, do you have permission to do this? I said, well, no. And he said, well, you got to get permission. And I said, all right. Now, to get permission is not a difficult thing if you have a club. And you got a president, and you got a secretary, but I don't have any of that. So I'm going I have to go to the person in charge there. And as I'm going to this person in charge of giving permission, I'm chanting this verse. Katanchana samte yasmin duskram sukram bhavishmidaridam. I'm chanting this verse like japa to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So I went to the office, and the dean was busy. So the secretary said, well, she's a little busy now, just sit and wait a little while. So I'm chanting this verse more. So then the dean comes out and said, yes, can I help you? I said, I want to set up a table here and distribute Bhagavad Gitas. And she said, yeah, sure, no problem, go right ahead. And then the secretary said, you see, it wasn't that difficult, was it? It was like Lord Chaitanya was saying, you see, just remember me. So if we remember Lord Chaitanya, then even such a difficult thing as becoming free of material desires becomes possible. So what is a material desire? Material desire means a selfish desire. Satisfy our senses, our mind. Selfish desire. Now what is a pure desire? To satisfy the desires of Krishna. So it's a simple thing, but difficult to put into practice. Because the mind is, we've had these material desires for a very long time. And now in this one lifetime, we're trying to become pure of these desires we've had for so long. But Krishna is very powerful. Just like there's air purifiers, right? There's water purifiers. There's also consciousness purifier. And that's what we're doing in this practice of Krishna consciousness. Hearing srimadbhagavatam, Krishna sodamo bhagate, dharma jnana adivisa, kalau nashatra samesa, prana godino. That this is this Kali Yuga, it's so dark. And people can't see. It's so dark that people can't see. But if one hears Srimad Bhagavatam, then one is given the eyes by which we can see the truth. We can see Krishna. We can understand Krishna. So this is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. Our consciousness becomes purified just by hearing the words of Sukadeva Goswami, so many, Narada Muni, Sutta Goswami, so many. So, and then the holy name, very purifying. Why? Because the name is Krishna. Sometimes we hear that because the name is within Krishna. Prabhupada, imagine this, Prabhupada is in Vrindavan and a devotee is giving class, and Prabhupada is sitting listening to his class. Imagine that, you're giving Bhagavad Gita class and Prabhupada's in the audience listening to you. Whew. That'll wake you up. Yeah, that'll make you a little nervous, huh? So a devotee was speaking, he said, the name of Krishna is within Krishna. Prabhupada said, no. Prabhupada said to him, oh, where in Krishna is his name? And the boy said, oops. The name is Krishna. The name isn't in Krishna, the name is Krishna. And there's a nice statement, iti sudasikam nama kali kunasanasam nata prataropaya saravedesha drishyate. That if one wants to get free of all contamination and become free of all the sins of Kali Yuga, there is no alternative than to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Very purifying, the names of Krishna. So, the more we chant the names of Krishna attentively, the more we hear srimadbhagavatam attentively, then we get purified. As Prabhupada said, it's a gradual process. Not an easy thing. It's a gradual process, so we have to have patience. I was actually given a class in Germany, and I was explaining how to attain this realization of Krishna. I was speaking actually about the name of Krishna, and Krishna is non-different. And the students said, I find this to be inconceivable, that the name of Krishna and Krishna are non-different. Because you don't see that in this world. An apple and the name of an apple is different. Krishna and the name of Krishna is non-different. It's actually pretty deep. So I said, well, you have to have a little patience to understand this. And the student said, you know this word patience? It's not even in my dictionary. We're very impatient, isn't it? In the West, we're so impatient. We want everything now. I've been chanting Hare Krishna for 2 years and I don't love Krishna yet. I mean, come on. What is this? Right? But a lot of contamination. So we have to do a lot of chanting, especially attentive chanting. So important. So we have the holy name, we have the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have the association of devotees, we have so many things that help us to advance in Krishna consciousness. So we should take firm shelter of these things and not let ourselves get swayed. This is Maya's kingdom, so we can get swayed away in so many different directions. So we have to be very careful. Even on the royal road, there's danger. The royal road is so nice, nice paved road, wide road, nice. But even there's danger. So we're on this royal road, so we have to be very careful. And if we're following all this, but we're not respectful towards devotees, then Krishna's not pleased. It makes it more difficult. Sopi vravre chalam bhaktim tasmani vakilapmani tad bhakteshu saurdam bhutesu cha dayam param. Beautiful verse by Sudama. When Krishna went to Mathura, he saw so many devotees. And this one Sudama, he was such an elevated devotee. And Krishna was so pleased with him. He said, I'll give you anything you want. So he said, I just want 3 things. Devotion for you, friendship with your devotees, and compassion for all living entities. So this is something we had to pray for. Just to have loving relationships. In Kali Yuga, very difficult. Everything is difficult in Kali Yuga. To develop our love for Krishna, to have loving relationships with devotees, to have compassion for other living entities, very difficult. So he prayed for these 3 things. So we could learn from Sudama that this is something we should also pray for. Intensely. Intensely. Tivra bhakti. Tivra bhakti means intense devotion. So we should also pray for this intense devotion, intense friendship, loving friendship, and intense compassion for others. And Krishna, he'll help us advance. And what's interesting is that Kapila Dev, he says, as one practices Krishna consciousness, imperceptibly the one advances in Krishna consciousness. He may not even perceive it. Yeah. It's like a nature of a devotee, a real devotee. He doesn't even think he's advanced. He thinks everybody else is a better devotee than him. He thinks everybody is better than him. But he doesn't perceive that he's advanced. It's amazing, huh? I mean, it's completely amazing. Imperceptible. Just like sometimes we get devotees are ill, and they take some Ayurvedic medicine, and within a day or two they feel better. But they don't know how it works. Right? Jare yasu yakosham nigirnam anloyata. Kapila Dev. Again, he says that the subtle body of the living entity dissolves imperceptibly. Just as when he gives the example, just like when we eat, that we don't know how all the nutrients are being distributed throughout the body for our health purposes. There's so many things that we don't know. Right? So many things we don't know. Even doctors, sometimes there's diseases, and they're taken to the hospital, and big doctors haven't a clue. I don't know what it is. And then they die just, a couple days later. So many things, even big doctors don't know about the body. And Prabhupada gives the example that sometimes someone is ill, and they're given medicine, and they're given a very good doctor, but they die. On the other hand, another person has got a deadly disease. He's not given any medicine, he lives. Yeah. Someone may be on a big boat, just like the Titanic. It was stated that this boat is such a good boat, even God won't sink it. Even God can't sink it. Don't challenge God. Sunk the first time it went out. You may have a very good boat, but it may sink. So, everything is dependent on the mercy of Krishna. Of course, not just the mercy of Krishna. Determination. We have to have determination. To advance in Krishna consciousness, we have to be very determined. And Prabhupada says in a purport in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, if one is able to control the senses, then one develops determination. But if we don't control the senses, it's impossible. And therefore Prabhupada also says, he said, if one can't, or if one doesn't have determination, then he's an animal. Animals can't have determination. Right? So, a human being has this determination. So of course we have to learn what the goal is. Some people don't even have a goal. They don't know what they want. So we have to know, what is the goal? Atato Brahma Jigyasa. The human form of life it's an opportunity for us to attain the goal of life, the highest goal of life, Krishna consciousness. So we have to pray for that also, for determination. I call it the 3 Ds: determination, discrimination, and devotion. We also have to discriminate. I'll tell you an amazing pastime of Prabhupada. Prabhupada was at one temple, and one devotee who had left the movement came to see Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, believe it or not, he told this person, He said, it's good that you left because you were an enemy of our society. Imagine, I don't know what he did, but for Prabhupada to say that to someone. Whew. So people like that, we don't associate with. It was displeased Prabhupada. I remember in Miami, there was one devotee who used to smoke marijuana and living in the temple. In LA, just recently, there was a devotee living in the ashram. He was drinking alcohol. Yeah. So people like this, of low consciousness, we don't associate with. We have to discriminate. We associate with persons who can elevate us in our consciousness. People who are trying to follow strictly Krishna consciousness. We associate with such persons. Anukuyasya sankalpa, pratikuyasya vartan. We associate with those persons who will help us advance, and people who won't help us advance, and we avoid. Accepting things favorable. So many things that are favorable to our advancement in Krishna consciousness, right? Prabhupada set it up so nicely. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravana, Mathura Vas, Shri Mathura Sithaya Sevan. So these are the most favorable things for our advancement in Krishna consciousness. And so many things we have to reject. Oh, what are the 5 things? Yeah. Associating with the devotees. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, chanting the name. Sadhu Sangha, Nam, Bhagavat Shravana, hearing srimadbhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravana, Mathura Vas, living in the holy places. This is a holy place also. This appears like it's in SanDiego, but it's not in SanDiego. This is the spiritual world. We're worshiping the Lord here. So it's not, it's an oasis. So much Maya here. It's an island of Maya here. But we have this oasis of this service to Krishna. And then worshipping the deity. So these are very favorable for our advancement in Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada gave it all. He gave it all. And one thing that Prabhupada was worried about, and that was that you'll decrease in your worship of the deity, and you'll think, oh, Prabhupada has left us with such a burden. That was his one worry. And now it's become a problem. Deity worship has decreased. There was one temple where everybody left, and it was just the deities there for weeks. That was in Murari Sevak. For weeks. This was years ago. Everybody left. Can you imagine that? Tennessee, So, and there used to be 100 devotees there when Prabhupada was here. They had a Gurukul there, a huge Gurukul, and so much activity. So the Prabhupada's sphere came to be. And deity worship has decreased so much in other temples. So I see that deity worship here is going so nicely. Not easy though. It's not easy to maintain. As it said, it's easy to start something. It's easy to stop something, to maintain. And therefore, was it Lord Vishnu, he's the maintainer, Brahma creates, Shiva destroys. To maintain, that's the most difficult. So that takes Vishnu to do it. So, determination, discrimination, devotion. This is what attracts Krishna. Therefore, it's as we hear every day during these prayers, that Krishna is conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. This is what attracts Krishna. And therefore, devotional service is more powerful than Krishna. Just like in this amazing pastime of Yasoda trying to bind Krishna. She was trying so hard to bind Krishna because he was a naughty boy. Krishna's the supreme naughty boy. He's supreme in everything. He broke that butter pot, right? And went running, and she wants to punish him. So she captures him And she's got a stick, and Krishna, he's feigning fear. Oh no. See, this has never happened before, that she had picked up a stick. And she's going to beat me. So he was afraid, and she was thinking, oh, I can't allow that he's afraid of me. So she threw the stick, but at least I got to tie him up. I got to do him, I got to do some punishment. And this way also he won't cause any more mischief. So she gets all this rope. Can't tie him up. Gets more rope. Can't tie him up. 2 fingers, too short. Gets more rope. And now it had become a scene in Vrindavan. The mothers, the other gopis are like, they're watching this. They can't tie up Krishna. And then they finally say, Mother Yasoda, can't you see? You can't tie up Krishna. You've got so much rope, you can't tie him up. And then she says, with determination. Even if I got to get all the rope in Vrindavan, I'm going to tie him up. So she had that determination. And Krishna saw that determination. And then he gave mercy. So those are the 2 fingers. Determination of the devotee and the mercy of Krishna. When Krishna sees that we're determined to engage in pure devotional service, he's determined to give up material desires, to serve me with love, then he gives mercy. So this devotion is so important. Therefore, Krishna says, Tesam sadak yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam tadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to me and worship me with love, I give them the understanding, I give them the intelligence by which they can come to me. So this is what we want. This buddhi, this transcendental buddhi, transcendental intelligence. And Krishna will give it. We just have to have this determination. And what's interesting is after this pastime of Krishna finally being tied up, she was able to do it. Who can tie up God but a devotee? So then he took this grinding mortar, and he goes to these trees. What was the name of the trees? No, the trees. Huh? Arjuna, Yamala Arjuna trees. So he went in between these trees, and the trees fell down. And they made a huge crash. And it's described in the Nectar Devotion that when Mother Yasoda heard this crash of the trees, she didn't see it, she just heard it. She went, oh my God, now what? Because all kinds of things are happening with Krishna. Now what? So then everybody went to where the trees had fallen. And Nanda Maharaj went to the boys who were there and said, well, what happened? And they said, oh, Krishna, he pulled that grinding mortar in between the trees, and they just both fell down with this big crash. And then these 2 beautiful personalities came out, and they were offering prayers to Krishna. And the boys were like, wow, Krishna's just like amazing. And then Nanda Maharaj, he looks at Krishna, and this is described by Sanatana Goswami, Krishna's just standing there smiling. And then it's described that he separated his lips, showed his teeth. He's just smiling at Nanda Maharaj. Krishna just captures the heart, yeah. So this is Krishna. Yeah. I was talking to one student the other day, and she asked, so what is the difference between the scriptures you have and other scriptures? Practically, other scriptures means Abrahamic religion, right? There's nothing else, right? Well, that's ours. That's ours. But the Quran, Abrahamic, right? Yeah, Bible and Quran, yeah. But what information is there about God? He's scary. He's scary. It scares the heck out of you. God's great. He's omniscient. He knows. Yeah, he knows everything. He creates. What else? But if you read these books, you'll find out so much information about God. There's no other religion where you get information about God, the wonderful, amazing activities of God. And sometimes people read, and I remember I was talking to one student, and she said, "Well, it seems like just fantasy stories, you know." But I said, "Do you think God is ordinary, or is extraordinary? Extraordinary. Which is God? He's ordinary. He's going to do things that just you and me are doing. Or is he going to do things that are extraordinary? That's God. He does things that are extraordinary. Just how could he do that? Well, he's God. God does amazing things, lifting hills and dancing on snakes and swallowing fires. This is God. So the more we hear the glories of Krishna, the more we practice, the more we'll understand how great Krishna is. So, any question or comment? Yes.
Thank you. Nice to hear from you. Have your company. You brought up intensely desiring or praying for compassion. And at the same time, you gave an example of discrimination. And if you'll allow me to open it up a little bit for discussion and contemplation. Sure. As you said, you don't know what the circumstances were for Srila Prabhupada say, you're an enemy of our movement. But then you gave an example in terms of discrimination where somebody couldn't follow the principles, and that's a standard Prabhupada's given for staying in the ashram, that you can't live here. But in the vein of compassion, if one is simply weak and has their vices, but has some attraction for Krishna, for the advanced devotee, because we can discuss what association means, taking the qualities of someone is one definition, but in common parlance, an advanced devotee will understand that's just fog, that's just material, that's just sin. That's a devotee. They have some attraction, and I'm going to try my best to help that devotee. We're not whimsical where, bring everybody into the ashram or what have you, because that's the standard set by our acharya, our founder acharya. And there's one example that I'd like to quote that kind of shows a compassionate aspect. The closest one I was thinking of Prabhupada when he banned Nittai. It's the only person I'm aware of that he said, don't let him come to temples. He wrote all the temples. He's an envious snake. Don't let him in the door. But then a short time later, he's asking his personal servants, where is he? Have you heard of him? What is he doing?
And he even said, invite him back. He said, invite him back. He could work for me again. Yeah, that's true.
Hare Krishna.
Interesting.
And there's a nice one about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was touring. It was in the southern part of India. And some devotee had difficulty. And if memory serves me correctly,
Bangladesh.
Okay.
Bangladesh.
Help clarify it if I don't get...
They were going to open a temple, right?
Oh, that's a different one.
Oh, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
That's a wonderful one, too. He wouldn't open it unless that devotee was there who had rendered service, even though he'd had fall down.
Yeah.
And there's another one where I believe Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur knew of the fall down, and he had said something like, you're not up to standard. You shouldn't be in the ashram. And then sometime later he came to the temple, and he wasn't there, that devotee who'd been sent away. And he asked the temple president, where is he? He said, well, he had difficulty, so we sent him away as you would require. He said, what are you talking about? Said, you're the temple president. You're supposed to be more merciful than I am. I'm the acharya. I have to set the standard. But you should be you should be bringing him in out of compassion.
Yeah.
So just shedding a little bit, light on that part where somebody has difficulty. It's not like, because you did define, we want to associate with those who elevate us. But that's for our own benefit. But when we're advanced enough, we will not be taken underwater by the fall downs or the vices of another person, then we try to give them ours.
Yeah, good, very good, thank you. And also Madhudvisa, he had left, and he was a very prominent person in our society at that time. And devotees started telling others about his fall, and Prabhupada was so upset. He was so upset. Now that you've done that, he'll never come back. Prabhupada was so upset. But then he came back. That was Prabhupada's mercy. But yeah, we have to have compassion. Yeah. It's a difficult one. Icha dvesa samudvena dvandumohena bharata. We're born in this world with envy. And to hate. We're born with hate even. So compassion is just the opposite of hate or envy. So to have compassion, it's something we have to really pray for. Yeah. And Krishna, he helps. Yeah. Yeah. A devotee is merciful, compassionate. So we should pray for this advancement so that not only for our own benefit, so we could help others as well. Because this is a preaching movement. There's a lot of service that we have to help a lot of conditioned souls, and if we don't have that compassion, then it's difficult. It'll be difficult to go out. Yeah. Yes, bro.
Yeah, I just had a question. Sometimes devotees go out on book distribution, or they're out about this and that, and they run into these people, which I'm sure anybody who's been out there, preaching or trying to spread Krishna consciousness, these people, they say, they quote a few verses from the Bible, and one of the verses they like to quote often is that, Jesus is the only way. They quote that a lot.
Yeah.
So, in relation to that, there's some verses we quote also, which of course we accept them and we quote them, and they're from Shastra, they're great. Some of the verses are saying like, chanting the holy name, that's the only alternative. There's no other way. It specifically says that there's no other way. So my question is, how do we repeat those verses, and how do we understand that, and how do we help people understand that in relation to not being mistakenly put in a box like those Christians, it's only like Jesus is the only way, so we say, the holy name is the only way, So how do we kind of balance?
Well, there's unlimited names of God. There's Jehovah, there's another name for God. Allah, So they also have holy names. What else, what other names are there in other religions? Huh? Yahweh, Allah, Jehovah, Jah. I don't know. I don't know if that's a bona fide. But there's so many. There's unlimited names of God. So we're not saying only the Hare Krishna mantra, although that's the recommended process in this age. But yeah, we're not fanatical. I tell Christians, hey, we glorify Christ in this book, Bhagavad Gita. We're not, we're non-sectarian. Anybody that's a great devotee of God, we worship Him. To chant the names of Jesus also. Chant Jesus, or they say Hail Mary also. What is it in the Catholic religion? They chant there on their beads, Hail Mary or something. What is it? Anybody know? Yeah. What do they say? Anybody know? That they chant it on their bead. Yeah. So we chant it. Prabhupada said, if you remember me, then it's as good as remembering Krishna. So similarly, if you remember Jesus, Prabhupada said he's a Shakti Vaishnava. You chant the names of Jesus, you get purified. Sure. Okay, anything else? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.